Hi, today I'm going to take you through the entire process of creating my newest floral portrait. It's a concept I've revisited a few times now, and in this video we'll dive into everything from my inspirations to the final touches on the drawing. First off, where this idea came from. I'm always inspired by nature and I love combining elements like flowers, animals and the human form. Now the inspiration for this particular portrait came from a much older piece of mine, this unfinished drawing from 2020. Back then I found a reference photo on Pinterest and began sketching. But when I got to the drawing the hair, I just didn't like how it was turning out. The flow of the hair didn't feel right, so I abandoned this piece. However, what I did like about this drawing was the skin tone and, of course, the floral snail. I really like the idea of the snail shell made of flowers, and that's something I wanted to carry over into this new piece. So, for this new drawing, I decided to take a second approach. I didn't stick strictly to a reference this time, and I tried out a different hairstyle, but still something didn't feel right. I liked the overall concept, but couldn't quite get it to where I wanted. It just didn't match the vision I had in my head. And so we arrive at my third attempt. For this final version, I decided to mix elements from my past work with some fresh ideas. By the way, I love taking inspiration from everyday things like, for example, photos I've taken of flowers from a walk and incorporating them into my drawings. I've always enjoyed merging elements from nature with portraits. The idea of mixing it is something I've always enjoyed exploring in my art. I also looked at stock photos for additional floral ideas. I wanted to mix it up using real-life inspiration to create something that feels a bit surreal. As for the tools I used in this drawing, I mainly worked with color pencils and markers. The combination of these two mediums gave me the control I needed for the fine details and the vibrant colors I was going for. Markers are really great for adding solid both areas of color quickly. With pencils you can build up layers gradually, which is perfect for creating smooth transitions between light and shadow. Blending is key here. With colored pencils, blending the colors together is all about patience and layering. I usually go over each section multiple times with slightly different shades, adding depth gradually. The idea is to mix colors subtly so that they melt into each other and create a realistic texture. I really love how the blackberries turned out. Midway through the process, I realized that the expression on the face felt too neutral and almost emotionless. I wanted more depth, so I added some wrinkles and subtle tension to bring more life and emotion into the portrait. I love experimenting with expressions in my artwork. It's one of my favorite things to explore, how just a slight adjustment in expression can completely shift the mood of a drawing. After working on the details, I finally reached a point where I thought the piece was nearly complete. But even as I stepped back to look at it, something still felt off. Even though I'm happy with certain aspects of this piece, like the detailed skin, I'm not fully satisfied with the overall result. One thing that really bothers me is the background. I went with a bold deep blue color, but now it feels a little too aggressive, chaotic. I wanted something calming, but instead the background competes with the flowers and face in a way that doesn't quite sit right with me. There's just too much going on and the flowers, instead of popping, feel a bit flat. I feel like the whole piece ended up being too whimsical and fairy tale-like, which wasn't really the mood I was aiming for. While that's not necessarily a bad thing and I usually enjoy playful, colorful artwork, this one feels a little off balance to me. I'm definitely not as happy with this one as I've been with some of my other works. That said, I'm not ruling out the possibility of revisiting this concept again in the future. I think there's something really special here, but it hasn't fully come together yet. Sometimes that's just how the creative process goes. You try, experiment, and learn along the way. But that's the thing with art, you don't always get the result you want. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but I see it as a part of the creative process. This piece was also a warm-up for me after taking a really long break from drawing, and it helped me get back into the flow of creating. What I took away from this one is that sometimes less is more when it comes to color, especially in the background. I'm actually thinking of recording a separate video where I break down what didn't work in this drawing. It could be helpful for both me and you to analyze what went wrong and how to avoid similar issues in the future pieces. If that sounds interesting to you, let me know in the comments. Even though I wasn't completely satisfied with this piece, I'm not giving up on the concept. I might revisit it in the future with a new approach, but for now I'm moving on to the new projects that feel more aligned with my vision. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye!